Sharp Game here, coming at you with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com off of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. They say love comes and goes. If there really was love, you know, I get a lot of questions from guys about love, and I've been getting questions about love from a lot of guys for over a year now. I've been doing this probably 2 years consistently, uploading videos, and guys have been asking me questions pertaining to love. They're not getting enough love. The woman is saying one thing and her actions displaying another. A lot of guys want to know what I think and how should they handle situations like that. And I talk about this in my book. I talk about how the concept of love that we see today, how it came about. And a lot of people don't know what I'm about to tell you, you know, I'm a student of history. You know, I don't know everything about history, of course, and nobody does. No one knows everything, but I know a lot compared to the average person, and especially something that's pertaining in the advertising and marketing world, you know. And see, to make the love you see today is kind of watered down and shallow, and you know, it's kind of like taking a shower and you're cooling off, and it dissipates, and you're back to the person that you truly are. You have to understand that, you know, we live in a feel-good society today. Everything has to feel good. People have to be comfortable all the time. They have to be entertained, you know. And if you're with a woman for a long-term basis, and as soon as she start not being entertained and not feeling good, she will swear that you don't love her anymore. And that's not true. You know, what happens with a lot of women today, they drunk the Kool-Aid. They just, you know, buy into the status quo. They just want to believe what they want to believe. That's all. And that doesn't mean what they believe is true. They just want things to be the way they want it to be, because most people have a herd mentality. If their friend is doing it, they want to do it too. If it looks good, if it shines, they want a piece of it. You know, so that's what happens. That's what is happening with a lot of women out here today. But the only true love is unconditional love, mostly between parent and child. Now, it is possible to have unconditional love between man and woman. I've seen it. It's very rare, but it happens. But the way things are going today, it's not going to happen for most couples. And I would say that most people today probably haven't seen it between two people in their life, and they probably never will see it the way things are going today. Because today, the way when I was growing up, television wasn't such a big thing. It was radio. But today, television has pretty dominating everything. The television and the radio is the television and not the radio, but the internet is dominating everything. And there's a lot of untruth being displayed on both channels. So you have to understand that the concept of love came about on Madison Avenue. What happened is, you had a couple guys that owned Fortune 500 companies back in the day, and there weren't many companies back in the day like it is today. And they had to find ways to sell their products. Now, you got to think about it. Sex always sells. And back in the day, prostitution was the thing. You know, that was like the, you know, that was a rich man's game. Rich white guys, they used to buy sex, buy prostitutes for sex. And what happened is they basically ran out of ideas. So what happened is they just kept trying a lot of concepts and started coming up with a lot of campaigns. And this guy named John F. Kennedy was a copywriter like 100 years ago. It's probably over 100 years ago by now. He was like the first copywriter to create a campaign that basically sold sex. His campaign combined sex and love together. And they were just throwing it out there. They didn't even know if it was going to work. But it worked, and it boosted the sales of the companies that he was working for as a copywriter. And the products started flying off the shelf. And they still use that concept of combining, basically selling sex and love together. And they exploit women. See, in this country, in any first world or modern world country, the concept is this: guys are the tricks and women are the hoes. So the guys have to keep paying money in every capacity known to man. And the women are the hoes. They have to justify why they have to exploit women. And they always come up with a slick concept or clever way to do it. They'll put women on a pedestal and have them be models and they put on their clothes and sell their clothes, and they'll create brands and or use them for commercials to sell their products, to promote their products. And sometimes, you know, they'll add celebrities sometimes, every once in a while, or they'll add, you know, just a woman with a certain type of look, you know, and you know, these same type of women, there's no difference between a stripper and a model. They're both selling sex. The only way they try to justify why they're different is because one is being backed by a big brand with millions of dollars on a catwalk or, you know, some talent show or whatever the case is. But the stripper, she's just at a hole in the wall strip club. So see, there's a lot of double standards in this country. See, as long as you got some money and somebody's pushing the money behind you, it's okay. But as soon as you try doing the same thing, like the stripper does in the strip club, all of a sudden they call she's a hoe. But see, they don't call a model a hoe. You know, but they both doing the same thing. One is just a high price hoe, and the other one's a low budget hoe. But they both doing the same thing. They're both being exploited. You know? So that's the concept of love didn't have anything to do with me, you, or women, or how anybody feels. They just had to find a way to sell their products. This is why they came up with the holidays. You got 4th of July, Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. You got all these holidays, and it's always a sale. And the sale was always catered towards women. Women spend the most money in this country. And every campaign is catered towards the women. It's women clothes. It's jewelry, cars, clothes, shoes, stilettos, dresses, bikinis, swimsuits. It's all catered towards women. Women have to keep spending money to keep this economy afloat. Basically, that's how it works, you know. And guys have to keep spending money on the women. That's how it works in the society. Women have to spend money, plus they have to get exploited on top of the spending money. Guys just have to spend money, period, on everything. Court fees, divorces, marriages, whatever. Guys just have to keep spending money on women. If the marriage doesn't work, the guy's going to pay. He's going to pay for it more than the women. The laws are biased towards women in every situation you could probably think of. And that's because the whole concept is to keep guys paying. And keep women paying too. But then women are going to be exploited on top of the money spending. And keep women feeling good. Brainwash them, get them to buy into the concepts of the latest trends and all that good stuff. And if you really think about it, if you travel outside of the United States of America, the concept of love doesn't exist in a lot of these other countries. They don't even talk like that. If you go to Japan, if you start talking about love, people are going to be looking at you like you're crazy. Or go to China, they're going to be looking at you like you lost your mind. They don't talk like that over there. That doesn't exist in their culture, really. Now, you might see it on some type of display on television, or you might see some young person talking like that, but for the most part, the word love in their language, that I've never heard it before. I've never had a woman in my 4 years of being in Japan. I never had a woman say she loves me. I've never had it happen. Now, I've heard people kind of glance over the concept, but it's not widely used like it is here in America. It's like they don't think like that. And I never read a holy book that the word love existed. I read the Bible, it ain't in there. So what? Why do you think that is? That's a question to you. Why do you think there's all these different rules and concepts that only exist here in the United States of America, but these other countries, they don't? That's the question. That's the question to you. You think about that and leave a comment below. But it's like let me tell you how I get past this love concept. Because see, everyone has their own definition of love. And see, I like to get past the confusion. I don't like confusion. That's why I choose my words very well. So this is what I do. And I wrote about this in my book, by the way. This is what I do. I say, hey, either at the end of the day, man or woman, but in this particular instance, we're talking about women. So regardless of who the woman is, or the woman, it could be one woman or many, or a few women, either you love me, care about me, or you don't. And notice I didn't put love in there, see, because everyone's love is different. And that's going to have people confused. Because see, if you look up the definition of love, it's not going to be a real concrete definition. And see, most people, their concept of love based on what you doing for them. You got to be doing something. And see, that's what's so confusing. Because as soon as you're not doing anything for them, they're gone. That's why it's so easy for a lot of women to just jump from guy to guy, because they didn't put nothing in the relationship anyway. So it's, and when they have multiple guys and been with so many different guys, after a certain amount of time, it's going to be impossible for them to have true love with anybody after a certain time. Because see, you have to understand, when a woman's been with so many different guys, there's a piece of it's like kind of like a piece of the guy that's left in the woman. This is scientifically speaking. This is why a lot of women have a hard time not comparing you to the last couple guys. And this is why, if she's been with so many guys, she's prone to leave you. It's easy for her to leave you because her mind is so messed up. You know, she can't help it. She has conflicting thoughts and conflicting ideas. One day she's thinking about the ex, and one day she's thinking about you, and she's confused, don't know what to do. She says she's not comparing you to the rest of these guys, but she is. She can't help it. You know, so that's the you know, the tragedy of being with too many guys. You know. So hey, this is why I break it down like this. Either you like me, you care about me, or you don't. Now here's what I've learned about this concept that I started using. See, I've learned that if you care about me or you like me, especially if you care about me, it's gonna be very difficult for you to shit on me or do me wrong. It's gonna be very difficult. Now it still might happen, but if somebody say they love you, that might not last very long. I mean, that might change overnight or next week. You know, a woman can say they love you in the next, and one she can say she love you one day, and the next day she's trying to kill you, stab you, or shoot you, or get violent with you, or kill you in your sleep. So this is why, you know, I just make it simple. I say either you love me, you care about me, or you don't. And even if she has bad intentions, it's still going to be very difficult for her to shit on you if she cares about you. It's going to be very difficult, man. You know, because that word care and like, that's stems much deeper than love. You know, because if someone say they care about you, see, everyone's definition is pretty much the same. If you ask someone, hey, you care about this person, yes or no, they say yeah. You know, everyone has pretty much the same definition. It's the same meaning in their mind. It's the same. But if you ask them, hey, what's your definition of love? Oh, it's probably 6-10 different definitions they'll come up with, man. They say, oh, it's how you make me feel. Oh, it's what you do for me. It's what I'm how he, you know, he shows me a good time. I learn a lot from him. He's a nice man. You know, all kinds of stuff that is all shallow and superficial, really. You know, so there's no concrete definition for love. You know, most people don't really understand how the concept even came about. And not only do they not know, they don't even care. Because they're just going on to get along. They have the herd mentality. If their friends is doing it, they want to do it too. If their friends has got it, they want it too. So they don't really care. The concept of love ain't had nothing to do with me, you, or feelings or anything like that. It's the big businesses just wanted to sell their products and services, and they were willing to do whatever to make it happen. Whether exploit women or even take some people out or take some people down. They was willing to do whatever it takes. Because in this country, they don't care about women. Believe it or not. They don't care about women in this society. You know, I know your idea might be a little conflicting to what I said, but if you really take a step back and really look at and analyze everything from a practical point of view, without being so judgmental, you would see exactly what I'm talking about. They play this game and they act like they care about women's rights and and the laws and public policies, and they don't care about any of that stuff. I mean, they just give women something so they can be quiet, so they can keep their mouth shut and move on, so they can go out and sleep with as many guys as they want. That's it, really. That's all it's about. It's about, they'll give you something, but they'll take away something later. That's how things are set up in this society. Men are the tricks, women are the hoes. And women are going to continue to get exploited in this country. And I don't know if it's ever going to stop, unless they come up with a new system, a new way of living or something like that. Or, but it's been going on for over hundreds of years now. So you have to understand, the concept of marriage was about keeping what I got, property, assets. And it had nothing to do with no love. And it had nothing to do with how you feel, how you feel about the woman. Back in the day, guys got with women. The women got with guys because of, it was more of an agreement between him and the parents, mainly the dad. The dad had to actually, you had to actually have permission to marry women back in the day. You had to actually sit down with the dad and have a conversation and say what your intentions of being with his daughter. See, that's old school way of doing things. Now, if you might be too young enough to know that's how that thing got started back then. It didn't have nothing to do with no love or how you feel. It was all about family back then. That's what it was all about. I saw that when I was growing up. I didn't think my grandparents loved each other, or my great grandparents loved each other, but I know they cared about each other and they had each other's backs. That's more important to me, having each other's backs and you caring about each other. Because most people today don't care about each other. I mean, most women have a hard time with little stuff. They have a hard time with their man getting a little shine, or with their husband leading or taking some leadership role. So they don't even trust them half the time. So how the hell are these women today going to love anything or anybody? I mean, they have a hard time having unconditional love for the kids that they got. They're screwing that up. And they don't really have a choice with that. They didn't have a choice, really. Once the kids come in, you don't really have a choice after that, and they're screwing that up by, mistreating the kids, telling the kids all kind of craziness that's been passed down to them. So they have a hard time with that. So how the hell do you think they're gonna have the mental capacity to love a man that's supposed to be their husband long term? It's almost impossible, man. That's why a lot of women can leave and they don't even tear up. It's like they're on to the next guy, like next week, 2 weeks, 2 months later, 6 months later, they move on and get married to the next guy like it's nothing. Meanwhile, the ex-husband, he's crushed. He might never get married again. He's hurt. This is why women can leave. It's no big deal to them. They'll leave a guy and get with a guy the next day. Or they'll leave their husband for another guy, and they don't have no remorse, no nothing. And that's because they didn't put much into it anyway. The whole thing, in most cases, is just, it's a front. It's a good act. You know? And that's because 9 times out of 10, she done been with too many guys. She done had too many experiences. It's a gift and a curse. I mean, if a woman had too many experiences with too many guys, she's almost prone to, she wants to upgrade and leave and go somewhere else with another guy. But a lot of times, that a lot of women don't have the confidence, and they don't look the same either. That's another thing. If she doesn't look as attractive as she used to be when she was younger, she know she ain't gonna get nobody else 9 times out of 10. She might find a couple guys that'll smash, but long term, in the 40s, with kids, it ain't happening. 40s, 50s with kids, ain't happening. Especially if she ain't attractive. And if she's a 40-year-old woman, never been married, no kids, no nothing, you know what that means? That means every relationship she's been with, she's failed 100% of the time. So only a fool would get with a woman that's 40, 45, 50, that's never been married, that's never been in a long-term relationship. Only a guy that's a fool would get with a woman like that, because that tells you that she's failed on every relationship she had. But of course, she ain't gonna say that. She's gonna say, the quality of guys just wasn't there for me. I just couldn't meet them for some reason. Or she'll come up with any excuse. But it's never her, because she doesn't think anything's wrong with her. And if you believe that, you're a fool. Because guys are the hunters. We aggressively go after the women. And if a guy wants to get with a woman, he's going to make it obvious. You know? So there's no woman that should be single out here. Most women should have somebody. And if they don't have somebody, it's their fault. It's no one else. It's their fault. Really. It's over 7 billion people on the planet. And you can't find one guy to get with? How lame is that? But women will come up with all kind of excuses. Oh, I was focused on my money, and guys were intimidated by my money and my education. Get out of here. Get out of here. But see, at the end of the day, I look at it like it's my game, my life, my show. And if, some woman is, if you pushing me forward or holding me back, there's no neutral playground when it comes to me. I don't play those games. So, back in the day, women got with guys. It was more of an agreement. It didn't have nothing to do with no love. It had to do with business. That's what it was all about. Because marriage is big business. And if you don't believe it, go down to the courtroom at your local courthouse 5 days a week. You're going to see. And when you go in that courtroom, they don't be talking about how you feel, or they don't be talking about no love. Love don't exist when it comes to law. And you don't have to believe me. Do your own research. Love don't exist when it comes to law. Common law or any type of law. It doesn't exist. I've never, I've asked any judge or any attorney, I say, hey, does law exist in any type of law or public policy? The answer is going to be no. So if it doesn't exist in the courtroom, if it doesn't exist in the Constitution, why the hell is it such a big deal for everybody? And even you. So if you like what you heard, subscribe, share this video, because I think everybody needs to hear this. I know, and if you like what you heard, give me a thumbs up, or you might want to give me a thumbs down. So hey, check out my website, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.